right, you guys. So today's the invite mastermind, which is perfect considering right now we're really focusing on inviting and kind of it's a skill, like I've said, and really tweaking that skill. It's a skill just like walking, just like our kids learn to walk, some of our kids learn to walk at, 9 months old, and some Griffin learned at 9.5 months, and Riley she's like 14 months by the time she walks, And I want you guys to think of your inviting in the same way. It is a skill. Like Riley is still not crawling. Okay, she learned the skill. It didn't come as easy to her as it did Griffin. But now look, if Riley would have been like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to go and crawl the rest of my life, she wouldn't be, flipping around on a balance beam that's like this big, which I can't even begin to understand how that works. But little tiny thing. The other day she did her first cartwheel without falling off the high one. It was a big deal, like ringing the bell at the gymnastics place and stuff. But it's a skill is what I'm trying to get at. Everything that you're going to learn in here is a skill that takes time. Invite and Riley, just like landing on that, balance beam. She didn't get it. Actually, the first time she tried to do a cartwheel on a balance beam was a year ago, right? And then it slowly got better. So she was practicing just on tape, and then she was practicing on a balance beam that was a little lower to the ground, and then it got a little higher, and then the other day it was on the highest one, right? Kind of scary, right? So she didn't start on the high one, right? But she had to start somewhere, and she had to take action. She had to try. She had to do all those things, to get where she is today. And that's exactly what I'm asking you guys to do. You can't sit. Riley did not learn how to do cartwheels on the balance beam by sitting on the side the whole time and just watching. She had to do that. She had to listen. She had to be coachable. She also had to take action in it, and that was the video that I posted today in the invite training that talked about that is a decision of ours. Every single day, every single thing we do is a decision, right? Whether to take action, and it's a discipline, and discipline's a gift. Discipline's a gift. So Riley's only going to continue getting better if she continues to discipline herself and to show up on time, to be coachable while she's there, to take action. The first time she does a flip on a balance beam, she's going to probably land on her head. Anybody ever feel like they landed on their head lately with their invites? Good. We're moving in the right direction. Those of you guys that are like, no, I haven't invited yet, I don't know. I can't coach that. I really can't. I'd rather coach someone that's landing on their head because now I know where to tweak than someone sitting on the sideline. Riley cannot be coached to do a flip on a balance beam if she never at least tries. You know what I mean? And there's padding underneath when she falls. When she falls, did you guys hear that? When she falls, your team is your padding when you fall. Does that make sense? We are your padding. That's why you have to stay surrounded by us. You have to stay engaged. You have to stay connected. So, you guys, that is the first piece that I have to get you guys to understand, that what you do with your time is a decision, right? I love that you guys are here. I love that you're taking the time to learn, and I'm not going to speak the whole time. I'm going to open the mic. I'm going to ask you guys to ask questions, something that I was taught a long time ago, and Lindsay Matway has reiterated as I've worked with her and stuff, at the 15-star level on coaching and stuff, is that when you sit in front of someone, like, when I sat in front of Maxwell, I had a question every time I go to sit in front of Danny, whether if I know I'm going to get a question or not, I always am prepared with the question. So hopefully you guys came prepared with the question. And if you didn't, maybe while I'm talking, you'll have some things that you'll think of, but you have to come with something so that you can improve on it, and you have to pre-side to still be standing at the end of this battle before it even starts. Riley is not going to get anywhere in gymnastics if she doesn't pre-side that. To where she wants to go. Now, it's one thing if Riley's just doing it for fun. You know what I mean? But Riley has goals, right? It's just like some of you guys. Riley wants to be on the Olympic team. Riley wants to do D1 gymnastics. A lot of you guys have those kind of goals, and it is possible. That's what my goal was 7 years ago. It wasn't, to just a hobby. Do you know what I mean? I needed income that would change your life. I didn't always need 6 figures. I'm not saying that. You know, I shared on that the other day. Like when I made $200, I thought that, I don't even know how I felt. You guys, I can't even explain to you how I felt about $200. I thought that the world had just changed. You know what I mean? I no longer, my heart rate could no longer went through the roof when I checked out for groceries, wondering if there's any money. I'm not saying that you have to, but I had to show up each day to create that relief. And that was like my Olympics, you know, and I had to decide that I was going to make it happen. And so you guys, many of you guys have that, you have a goal, you have a why, you have something that you're willing to fight for, but you have to pre-decide to still be standing, pre-decide that you're still going to be standing when someone makes fun of you, because if you haven't been made fun of yet, you will be. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like you will. You can do nothing and you'll still get made fun of. Anybody ever realize that yet? You can do nothing and someone's still going to cut on you because you're on earth right now, not in heaven. So you might as well make a difference. You might as well try to improve your life. You might as well do something, a purpose-driven business that makes impact and get made fun of. You know what I'm saying? And people come around, you know what I mean, as they watch you. But if you stop, I mean, I guess they're kind of right? Were you really going to stick with it type of stuff, you know? Like, oh, this is just a phase. This is just stupid. Like my uncle did that, or this is stupid. It never works. And if you quit, the way I see it is I kind of supported their theory. You know what I mean? And I'm not about doing that. So you guys have to pre-decide to still be standing through everything, through the first time your coach looks at you and says that you suck as a leader. Anybody ever had someone tell them that? My guy's like, I can own a piece of that. I should probably go get some leadership training. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, okay. So it's going to happen. It's life. You know what I mean? The cool thing is I taught you guys already how to forgive. So you should be able to release that really, really quickly. Okay. So let's talk real quick about what your marketing plan should be. And I'll go more into actual invites on when I'm talking on the live later. But I'm going to go through a couple things that were taught to me and made a huge impact, and then I'll open it up to questions. We can talk about invite wording and stuff like that. So first, I talked about yesterday, friends first. You have to, I can't reiterate that enough. You know, if you don't like people, they don't like you. I mean, have you ever met someone that doesn't, you can tell like they don't like people? Did you want to be around them? Did you want to do business with them? You know what I mean? Like, so you know, some of us don't like people because we've been hurt by people. So you have to release that. And we really do, like, you know, Chad always asks me, like, well, I don't understand how you release this so quick, Summer, because like some pretty gnarly things have been said or happened lately. And Chad's like, what? I'm still pissed off. Can I just be pissed off a little longer? I was like, well, Maxwell said you get 24 hours and then you're done. Do you know what I mean? And he's like, well, you didn't even take 24 hours. And I said, because I see him through God's eyes. And that's how I want people to see me, right? Like I know when I get to heaven, if I don't forgive someone, he's going to go, well, what about this time that you did this to that person? I see it as like screenshots up there, like it's touch screen, like really high tech up there in my world. I don't know. And you go like that. And he's like, well, what about this time? You remember when you said this to that person? Oh, how about this time? How about this time behind their back? Ooh, how about that time? You know what I mean? Like all those times that I thought I should be forgiven, but I was holding on. And so I'm like, I told Chad that, like, I don't want to get up there and him to be like, have like, you know, 200 slides worth of things to be like, what? You know what I mean? And so that's one thing I told him. He's like, that's a good point, you know? And then the other thing was because he created them and put them in my life for a reason. I might as well see why, you know what I mean? And embrace the relationship. And so yeah, 24 hours. So friends first. 2, you have to smile at people. Like Danny says, you got to show people your grill all the time, whether you feel like it or not. If y'all wake up in the morning, you don't feel like smiling at your kids. Ollie wakes up every day with a huge smile. You can't help but smile at that child. You know what I mean? Like it's the cutest little smile when he comes down those stairs. Like we need to smile at people like that. You know what I mean? Because you don't know how it's going to transform them. What does that say? Grab your smile, share your smile. Yes. Form. And we talked about that yesterday. Okay. So this is your marketing plan. 1, friends first. 2, you got to make it a habit to smile at people. There's a girl that went to First Steps to Success. And the only thing she went home and changed is smiling at her family. Totally transformed her relationship with her teenage boys just with smiling. She transformed her debt with the wine she was drinking, so she stopped drinking as much wine. When she did War on Debt, found out she had $800 worth of wine a month. I was like, damn. She's like, hey, in my defense, wine's kind of expensive in Canada. I was like, that's a lot of wine, girl. You know what I mean? Like, I might be able to help you with your fitness on that side too. So do you know what I mean? So she transformed those two things, completely changed it, and now she helps run Super Saturdays at the most popular place. You know, Chad and I are speaking there in Montreal in Canada. You know, she helps run them now. I remember when she went to Danny, wasn't smiling at anybody, right? And that's the only thing she was very intentional with, and everything has changed. Everything has changed. Okay. I talked to you guys about forming, you know, that is, you know, on social media. That's why social media is so cool, because you can learn about people's family. You should be able to know by their pictures, unless they don't post ever, but whether they have kids. How old are their kids? Are they older kids? They younger kids? Like, do you know what I mean? Sometimes you can tell what their occupation is. You know, do they work outside the house? They'll talk about those kind of things on Facebook. They might slam their employer, you know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, but you'll be able to see those kind of things. Recreation, you can tell by what they're sharing that they did on the weekend. You guys don't ever see me sharing about hiking, right? So you guys probably can assume that's not one of my recreational activities. You know what I mean? But I do like to hang from the chandelier. That is a recreational activity of mine. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can tell those type of things by how I share. You can tell, like, those type of things. You can tell that Christy Vincent just loves to watch her kids play outside. That is one of her recreational activities. She loves to go for a walk with them. She loves to go running. You can tell what Christy Vincent does. You know what I mean? So you can usually, if they like to go to baseball games with their kids, like, you can usually tell those kind of things. And that's what's so cool, in my opinion, about social media, is that you don't have to go through the cold call process to, you know, oh, how many kids do you have? I mean, if you're at a baseball game or you're at gymnastics, yes, you go into those questions. Your questions are always formed around the form and the sign, always. That's what you're trying to get to know, and let them talk. Ask more questions. They ask you a question, answer a little bit, reiterate on their questions. Get them talking, right? Because people, at the foundation of every human being, is to feel valued, loved, and important. And how many of us know that you feel important when people are asking questions, and don't just ask questions and wait for the next question, not really listen, but when you're really leaning in and relating to them. So form has got to be, it's part of your marketing plan. Your product is people. That's number 4. We already talked about that. Your product is people. That's where money comes from. That's who we serve. That's what we have our tools to serve them. That is who we're working with. Number 5 is you have to ask a lot of questions, which I just talked about. Pretty simple, but you have to ask a lot of questions. Blow your spouse away today. Don't tell them how bad your day sucked, okay? Don't tell them about all the kids and how they screamed. I mean, this is what I changed. When I changed our relationship, when I started to work on saving Chad and I's marriage, this is what I changed. I took things she taught me in the business, and I was like, wait a second. If that worked in business, if I built a 6-figure business with everything she's taught me, I should be able to create a 6-figure marriage. You know, 6-figure marriage rocks, right? So I was like, okay, I gotta apply the same things. Like, try it today. I used to be the one that Chad would walk through the door and I'm like, oh my gosh, she hasn't slept. She wouldn't nurse. The house is a mess. Everything I've done. Do you know what I mean? Here you go. That's how he was greeted, pretty much, or soon after he got home. And I stopped doing it. I asked him all questions about his day. He tried to ask me about my day. It was good, but really I just want to hear about your day. How was work? How was, you know, and he would start talking about his CEO. Tell me more about that. How long has he been acting that way, babe? How does that make you feel? You guys get where I'm going? Everything I'm telling you right now works for your coaches and works for your challengers, works for the people on social media, works for your spouse, works for your kids. You know what I mean? Griffin, the first thing I ask them when they get in the car is, how was your day? You know, and Griffin will ask me, be like, Mom, how was your day? I was good. It was uneventful, babe. What was your favorite part of your day? You know what I mean? He's like, oh, is this, and this? Oh, tell me more about that. Do you guys play football every day? Were you playing with the girls today? You know what I mean? Which girls are chasing you? It's always geared towards questions, you know, and that's how people generally feel valued and important. Right? And so try it with your spouse today. Don't tell him anything about your day, really. Ask him, get him talking or she about their day, you know, and it really, that can be your marriage marketing plan. Number 7, you're looking for interests to celebrate with people. Okay. This is what bridges a relationship. You're looking for what interests they have that's going to bridge your relationship. Right? So for example, I like football, but not like Chad likes football. You know what I mean? Like, Chad and I always joke about what my personality really is. I really like football for the food. So now you guys can see where I struggled. Football comes every year, multiple weekends in a row, well into February. See the problem for me and my nutrition? You know what I mean? I love it for the food, and I love it for the people. I'll watch the football game a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I do. I like a good pass. I like, yeah! You know what I mean? I like to celebrate and high five around. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't love it like Chad does. I like to make a hot apple pie. You know, it's an alcoholic drink, so now you guys can see another sneak peek into why I have struggled with my nutrition. But do you see what I'm saying? Like Chad really, really loves it. You know what I mean? We can put it on all day long. It's an interest of his. Do you know what I mean? All day long from 9 a.m. Go ahead, babe. Turn on. Hey, babe, wake him up. And he's getting ready. I get his coffee. Already have game day on for him when he comes downstairs. It's an interest of Chad's. Planes. I hate planes. Seriously, like they scare the heck out. I think our feet should remain on the ground. You know what I mean? I don't believe I should be in an airplane, especially I should not be flying it. And it should not fly at low levels, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? You don't have time to eject, But Chad loves planes, and he can tell when a plane flies over, he can tell what kind of plane, the engine. Like he'll start telling me about the engine in that plane. I mean, do you know what I mean? But I don't say that. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, really, babe? And I'll look up, like, when he was in the military, I'm like, babe, an F-18. And he'd be like, wrong, an F-22. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, well, at least I tried. Do you know what I mean? But I try to start noticing those things. Like, I don't like air shows. They scare me. What if they crash into me and my kids? It's loud. It's too much. Unless my friends are there, and then we're good, and I don't even watch the airplanes. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, I go with them all the museums. When we lived in Kerrville, we went to look at tanks one day. Who cares? Do you know what I mean? Like he did, so I did, and Griffin cared, so we went, and I sat on them, and I took pictures. Do you know what I mean? Like, and he told me all about what kind of gun they had on them, and what war they were using. And I don't care about politics either, but Chad does. So we talk about politics. You know what I mean? I listen. I ask questions. So these interests, you're looking for the other person's interest to bridge the gap, and then you're trying to take interest in it. Like I remember I can't remember who on our team did this. They don't like football really either, but it was football season, and so she ordered all of them jerseys, all of them for his favorite team. I can't remember which one it was, but every child, she had a jersey. She said she was going to wear that jersey in the bedroom. I was like, now we're on to it. Now you get how this whole plan works. Do you know what I mean? And that is what is going to bridge your gap with you and your spouse. That's what's going to bridge your gap with you and your challengers, with the people that you're talking about, is being more interested in what they're saying than you being interesting. Does that make sense? And so you have to listen for your interests. So this is where sign comes in. Strengths, interests, goals, needs. Those are going to start to come out as you ask questions. You know what I mean? For Chad, when he was talking about a CEO, how long have y'all been struggling with that, babe? That is bad. Do you know what I mean? And he'd tell me, I'm like, dang, really? Like, was your last CEO like that? What'd you like about your last CEO? Like, do you know what I mean? Now I'm starting to hear what his need is, right? Maybe I can, well, I did recommend books, but he threw them at me. But you know what I mean? Like, I could try to fill the need. See, Chad, do you guys get what I just said? I did everything right with Chad. Tried to give him and fill his need, and he threw the book at me. Some of the people that you talk to about challenge groups, because Chad wasn't in that stage of change. Now he orders more books off Amazon that he can even keep up with. He's like orders them constantly, personal development books, But that he wasn't in the stage of change 4 years ago, but it didn't stop me from planting a seed. And some of us need to realize that with our challengers, that they might throw their book back at you. I didn't take offense. Didn't mean my book sucked. Didn't mean what I was doing was wrong. Didn't mean my personal development didn't work. Just meant he wasn't in the state of change to receive it. But I kept doing it. Does that make sense? It wasn't like, oh, hell, fine, I'm just going to quit it, And so use form and sign very seriously when you're talking to people. And practice on your spouse when they get home. Your goal, okay, so here's number 8. Identify what your goal is with people when you're talking to them. Some of you guys are like, to sell them a challenge bag. No. That's a business goal, okay? But your goal with each interaction is 3 things, okay? It's to compliment them, to identify with them, and to encourage them. That creates a safe place, that creates trust, and that creates that belief that you love them, which is what controls their decision making. Do you see where that's your goal? See, a lot of us, our goal is to, like, right now, like, move through that objection in a way that gets those success club points, when really our goal is to encourage, identify with them, you know what I mean, and compliment them, really, to lift them up. Remember, this comes back to the foundation of every human being, is to feel valued and loved. Every human being. If you're struggling in any relationship, which we all have relationship struggles, is okay, how can you show that person that they are valued and loved without expecting them to show you the same respect back? Because that's manipulation. Like, I will compliment you and love bomb you and text you as long as you're doing something for me. Not a good idea, right? Not a good idea. So, okay, so let's see. Number 9 is paying attention to your body language. Okay, you can practice this on your kids. Trust me, you can't flip the switch, right? You can't be a total wreck and beep at home. Okay, I've been that one. I've been the beep before. Okay, you can't be that and then go out into your business and be the welcoming, safe place that everybody needs. You just can't flip it like that, because body language is communication is 93% nonverbal. Right? And so you have to intentionally control that. And I was at an event with Danny Silk, he's a faith-based guy that was helping us with parenting. And that was his whole thing. His whole thing was self-control in every situation. You can't control how people treat you. You can't control what your spouse says to you or how your spouse wakes up, but you can control this self-control right here, whether you decide to smile, when someone's talking to you and criticizing you, whether you go like this or whether you go like this, you know what I mean? We can control that, right? We really can. Okay? So, like, Griffin, he can't stand it when he's like, he's mad at me and I'm just like leaning in and I'm like, smiling. I'm like, okay, tell me how you're feeling. He's like, Mom, I can't even be mad at you right now. I know you can't. Let's hug instead. Do you know what I mean? 15-second hug. That's what we do in our family. You can't stay mad at someone with a 15-second hug. If Chad and I are like going like this at each other, it would be like 15-second hug. Like that, just whoop, done. 15-second hug. 15 seconds. There's actually studies on that. 15-second hug 5 times a day. How silly is that? I know, but it works, right? And the kids, 15-second hug with us, it's the last thing we do before they get out of the car. It's the last thing they do before they go to bed is a 15-second hug, because of how your body, never mind, we won't that. We were not going to get into all that stuff, but communication is 93% nonverbal, okay? If you need money, they know. If you are desperate, they know, okay? Because communication is 93% nonverbal. Or 93, yeah, nonverbal. So our key is to not need it then, not to need everybody. See, a lot of us are like, I need Success Club. I need, and it comes across like I have to have it. Instead of, what did I say our goal was? What I need to do today is to compliment, encourage, and identify with someone. That's my goal with my kids each day. I don't need them to follow the rules. I don't need it. They know it. I don't need them to do that. They know never mind. That's a whole parenting class. Okay, 10. Have true, genuine interest in the human being. Okay? Now you got to check yourself with this true interest in the human being. If someone is going through something, do you fire back at them as, well, how bad do you want it? Do you get frustrated with your coaches when life happens and they back off a little bit? You know what I mean? True interest in the human being, okay? True interest in your spouse as a human being. Are you truly interested in what's bothering them? Or is it like, suck it up, buttercup? Is that your favorite saying? You know what I mean? So you need true interest in the human being. Okay. You need be a professional salesperson versus an amateur. Okay, a professional salesperson. Okay, I'll give you an example of an amateur salesperson. Okay, so Chad and I bought this bed. Some of us saw us go live on the fact that we bought this new Tempur-Pedic bed or whatever, and I don't like it. Chad doesn't even sleep on it anymore. You know, it hurts his back so bad. Do you know what I mean? There was a 30-day, like, you could turn it in. Okay, so anyway, when the guy was talking to us at the sleep outfitter. He was awesome. I was like, this is Nordstrom service. Like, he was doing all the forming, the sign. He was relating to us. He was sharing about his story. He was sharing about his health problems. You know, he was relating to Chad through the military. He's doing everything right. Right? He was telling us, like, look, I'll take care of you if it doesn't work, if it, he knows it doesn't relieve any tension in Chad's back, you know, we'll pick it up, no questions asked. Okay. And I was like, dude, he's awesome, right? Like, awesome. Okay. This is where the amateur comes in. When I wanted to return it, he got mad. How many of y'all get mad when someone wants to return the Shakeology because it's not the right fit for them, or maybe it pissed off their spouse, or it upset their stomach, or they don't use it, or they don't want to use their blender? How many of y'all get pissed off at them? That's what takes you from from a pro to an amateur, right? Because behind every one person, there's 2,000 people. And I went into, I had their district managers on there. You know, we were doing 45-minute sales training with them. I said, listen, this is what I do for a living. You ready for this? I'm going to take you from Walmart service to Nordstrom service. And I coached him on it. And he was like, man, do you have any more of that I can buy? I was like, no, I do not. You know what I mean? And so guess what? They pick up our bed today as I talk to them about that. Do you know what I mean? So it all comes down to, all this refers right back to, do you have true interest in the human being? The human being. Are you really listening to what worked, what didn't? Are you willing to say to someone, you know what? If this is causing financial stress, let's just start with Beachbody On Demand. Let's just start there. Let's just start. We'll put you in our group and we'll create a plan for you and we'll kind of work through that. Or let's just start with the 5-day. Let's just build a foundation. You have to check your heart. It's a heart condition. You know, when we need it, like right now, we don't believe we're in it for the long haul. We start doing things that are icky, right? And that's when you can't really, when you lay your head down. See, this is something I told myself, when I lay my head down at night, I don't care how long I'm doing this, I'm going to feel good about what I was a part of that day. And so I had to self-evaluate a lot. So, okay, 12, you make eye contact with people. Something Chad's working on. He was doing a Facebook Live the other day with me. And he was looking this direction, and I went behind the camera, and I put my fingers up there like this, like, look up here, you know what I mean? And he fixed his eyes. Eye contact can be really hard for people, especially when you're lacking in confidence or working through something. That has to be an intentional thing. If I can't look into your soul, I don't trust you. I'm serious. If Griffin won't look into my eyes, I know there's something going on. Griffin, look me in the eyes right now. And usually I can get him to tell the truth with that. Okay, so eye contact is key. 13 is being yourself. This is so, so important. Christy Kronzner, I think is her name. Christy did an awesome video. Many of you guys have seen it in the Emerald in a week training that I did, but her business was stuck until she started being herself. So she started being herself. She was trying to be everybody else, you know what I mean? Until she started owning her story. She was suicidal. She struggled with depression. The only thing that brought her out of it was somebody that went every day to her apartment and said, let's go. We're training for an Ironman. Get up. We're going. You don't get to sit in here and feel sorry for yourself. As the only, and she started telling that story, and that's when because people can't connect to fake. Fake it till you make it. Throw that saying in the flipping trash. Don't fake nothing. Nobody follows fake for long. Nobody does. You be you, your story, and all of it. 14. Danny says, under promise but over deliver. Under promise but over deliver. I'm a big over promise, over deliver. You can take that for what you want. I believe in telling people exactly what they're going to get and then overdo it to their, like a Nordstrom expectation. So, like, for instance, I don't know how many of you guys do this, but everybody that signs up with me, whether it's for a 5-day or a 30-day, I send a handwritten card. How many of you guys do that? Good, you guys. It used to be just a thank you card. I'd get it at the dollar store or like in the Target where it's really cheap like stuff. And now like I've ordered them. You can order them on Vistaprint for not very expensive or something like that. But the main thing is that it's handwritten and that you send it out. They love it. You know, they love it. Share, and I always share a little bit of my story, how thankful I am that they have taken my hand and trusted me on this journey and how excited I am to walk next to them. And then I ask them to stick with me through the ups and downs. We're going to have ups and downs. My journey has ups and downs, but all I ask is that you stick next to me, that you stay communicating with me, that you continue to share with me, share your journey so that I can help support you and encourage you along the way. So I already set that. I set that up from the beginning, that there's going to be challenges. There's going to be mountains we have to go over. We're going to take wrong turns. You know what I mean? Our car's going to break down every once in a while. Doesn't mean you abandon the car, all that kind of stuff. So that is, you guys, the part that I wanted to share with you guys, because that is your marketing plan. Danny taught me that 5 years ago. I haven't heard her teach on it and that marketing plan in a really long time. It was something that made a huge impact 5 years ago on me, and that made sense to me. You know what I mean? Friends first. Yep, that's what Chalene Johnson told me too. Look like you're like Casey Wallace is on the other side. Smile at people, form them, be more interested in them, find their interest, become interested in what they're interested in. Ask lots of questions, check your body language. Like Danny Silk said, I can control what Griffin sees on my face every single day, Riley and Ollie as well. Be yourself, you know, brand you. You've been you your whole life. You know, there's nothing to learn. You know what I mean? You're already you. You just have to have the courage to post it on Facebook in a loving way. Okay. So that was what I had planned for you guys. What questions I'm going to look over here in the chat section. And I'm going to see who pops up first with a question, and then I might ask you to unmute yourself. But you guys, I want to help specifically to where you're at with inviting, okay? Right now we have our hot market, and I'm going to teach on that in a little bit. But your hot market are people that you already know form. You already know their family. You are probably part of their family. You know what I mean? You already know their occupation, their recreation, you know, their strengths, their interests, their goals, their needs. These are people that have shared those things. These are, you know, the way I remember when Tracy Morrow, some of you guys heard me talk about this in the Emerald group. These are your favorite people. Like, you know, you love these people. It would kill you if you knew you had something that could serve them, and no matter what your fear is, no matter what discomfort you have to share it with them because you love them that much. These are your hot market people. Like Tracy Morrow went out and did this with her entire family when she was building her first dream team. Told them, I don't know. All I know is, y'all heard that before, I don't know everything. Tracy Morrow said that. She's the one that taught me that. And then Danny Johnson reiterated it. I don't know. I don't know everything there is. I'm still trying to understand it, but I think we're onto something. I think, I mean, I've heard the stories. I see the vision. I know where it's going. And I want you to be a part of it. I really think we could do something. See what I'm saying? So you have to have that list of people. Okay, let's see. You're asking too many questions. I don't think you can ask too many questions. I just think some of you guys are trying to invite right now, where I'm willing to wait for the invite. Do you know what I mean? Not for my hot market people. Don't misunderstand that. I have never invited someone in Walmart line like we've heard taught before. I have never done that, and I never will. That's where I build my list, is at gymnastics, or I build it at the playground, or, at football, or, at Walmart. If I'm standing in line, I try to build my list just by getting to know people. I just practice form on people all the time, see where it goes. What's the worst thing that could happen? I have a good conversation. You know what I mean? What's the worst thing that could happen? You learn something about someone that you walk out and you're like, that felt good. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, instead of just staring at your phone the whole time, and so for me, I don't think you can ask too many questions. I don't even try to go in for the invite. I just ask a bunch of questions. I do it on Facebook forever. You know what I mean? Like I told you guys, comment plus question. I feel like I'm leaving something out, but this makes sense to me. Comment plus question equals conversation, right? And so if I see something, I've told you guys to put all your warm market people in an interest group. They don't know they're in a group, okay? Don't put them in a group. Don't just start a group and put your people in there. That is not an interest group. That is what some other companies do with us, and y'all hate it. I hate it. I'm have a million mascara groups. You know what I mean? Don't do that. An interest group is like a way to organize your people and your friends, right? And so I'll go just to that interest group. Like I have an interest group for my personally sponsored coaches. I want to see what they're doing. I want to know what's up with them. I want to know if their dog dies. You know what I mean? I want to see if they're working out. I want to see when they have a good vulnerable post that I can shout out. So I got my new coaches, or my PS coaches, and then I have star diamonds and above. I have an interest group. I want to see what they're doing. I want to see what my leaders are doing. I'm watching. You know what I mean? I'm watching them so that when they say something's not working, I can help, because usually social media is the glue. Okay. And then I have, my warm market people, people that I'm building relationships with, that I want to get to know better, and so it's on Facebook that I'm usually learning about their family, their occupation. Like, hey girl, I saw you're a nurse. How long have you done that? My sister's a nurse. She does this, this, and this, or whatever. I want to know the person, and I need a question to ask them. But you don't understand. I think some of us think like, okay, Summer, now you asked them about nursing. When do I get to the invite? Next year. Do you know what I mean? Like 3 months from now. I don't know. I'm just talking to them, right? But remember I said social media is the glue. So this glue of me sharing every single week about my fitness and doing call to actions and doing my Facebook lives, they get to know me, right? And 3 months down the road, when I put like a call to action about my Fearless 3-day fit group or my 5-day, they're growing closer to me enough to hit the like button. And then I can send another message like, hey girl, I saw you hit a like button on the 5-day challenge. Is that something that you're ready to jump in with me? And they go, no. Oh, sorry. Well, thank you for the encouragement. I saw you hit liked, and I so appreciate you encouraging me. If there's anything I can ever do for you, if you ever know of anyone I can serve, or if I can serve you or in any way, please don't be afraid to ask. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I keep the conversation going like that, but I'm doing so many conversations, okay? So many contacts that I think of it like a funnel. It's a funnel, and people are up here. You large amounts of people up here, okay? Now, a lot of us do our funnels like an upside down. We don't talk to a lot of people, not a lot of people on our list, and for some reason we think we should, we have 100 people on our list. For some reason we should have 120 invites, and we should get, Success Club 10. You know what I mean? Like that's the wrong way. You know what I mean? Usually you have to, generally you have to, let's just say you have to do 60 invites a month to hit Success Club 5. And we should be tracking that. Danny teaches that, right? Because then you can see like, okay, you can go to your coach when you're like, nothing's working. If you come to me, the first question I'm going to ask you is, how many people did you invite this month? And if you say 10, and you got Success Club 2, I'm going to say, that's awesome. Your closing rate is pretty damn good. Increase it. You want to hit Success Club 6? Invite 40 to 60 next month. Easy. Boom. High five. And then they come back like, well, I don't have that many to invite. Like, oh, okay. No, that's common. How many people did you add to your list last month? None. Okay. Awesome. Now we troubleshoot. We need to add 100 people this month. I don't know how to do that. Okay, let's do this. Go into some groups that interest you on Facebook. Do you see what I'm saying? So you're reverse engineering it, right? So, I have a lot of people that say like, I didn't get anybody for the 5-day group. And I say, how many did you invite? They're like, 2 last week. And I'm like, okay, we're going to have to invite 40 to get 5. Do you see, or even 3. You know what I mean? There was a coach that was doing awesome. She invited 100 and some people to her 5-day group and got 2. That's a celebration. Do you see what I'm saying? But she, okay, so let's just say it was 100. Let's make it easy. It was 100 people she invited. She got 2. That means 98 other people have had the seed planted in their heart. Now, in my opinion, now Facebook matters. Now your glue matters because you're on their radar. What are you sharing each week? Let me tell you, the fastest way to lose someone's trust is to be negative on Facebook. I'm not saying that you have to act like life is perfect. Don't misunderstand me. I'm saying if it's always woe is me and life is always bad and your husband pissed you off and you hate your job and you can't get, like, that's like, woo, like, do you know what I mean? Like people like shy away from that, especially when it comes to a business. You know what I mean? Can you imagine if you went to a pizza shop and you sat down, okay, and they started talking, and you're like, hey, how are you? And they're like, well, actually, like, the tomatoes did not show up on time, and the bread was this way, and the new hostess I hired didn't even show up on time. What would you be like? Okay, like, I just wanted to eat my pizza. That's what some people feel about on social media. Like, I just wanted to, like, check up on my friends, and all you do is keep venting. Block. You see what I'm saying? And so once you've sent those invites out, that's now your social media is the glue. It's where they're asking them, remember the limbic part of the brain? that makes your decisions. It is also what houses belief, your emotions and feelings. So how they feel about what you can do for them. Does she love me or he? Can I trust him or her? Can she or he help me? All housed in that same place where they make a decision. A lot of times, because everybody's face is on this, that's where their belief about you is developed. A lot of times. Okay. And so that's where for the girl that sent 100 invites, awesome. Lots of things planted. Now you have to till the soil, right? Because seed doesn't, I mean, if you plant on rocky ground, you know what I mean? It gets picked by the first negative person. So some of you guys have planted seed. You know, that person you were talking to in a message, you planted seed and their heart was a little rocky because they did Body by Vi, or they tried the gym, or they paid a personal trainer, nothing worked, and you know what I mean? And so they were really excited and they were going to order, and they know you love them, right? They know you love them. You've done everything right, and then they stop responding to you, and you start beating yourself up. When really it just had to do with you planted seed. Their spouse or friend, they're telling their friend, like, hey, I'm going to do this 5-day, this Shakeology thing. And someone's like, oh, I tried that. That stuff is nasty. What a waste of money. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, oh, and they stop responding to you. And it had nothing to do with you, right? Don't get offended. Keep running your social media. Keep being the person, you know what I mean, that's leading by the belief maker, and keep following up on the relationship so that the next seed can take root. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's how this whole thing works. The whole thing works this way. And so you have to be willing to put those two pieces together. Let me see what other questions we have on here. Can you go over a little more about when someone thinks it's too much money? Well, I think that's a normal reaction. Okay. We know it's not true, because they got their unicorn shake, probably, some people, which is fine. You guys heard me go on a rant probably about how we should not criticize people for that. But we know that's not true by watching people's finances. How many of you, when you really wanted to do something, like really wanted to do, I know for me in the past, when I really wanted to do something, I did it. You know what I mean? Like I went on the vacation. I really wanted my sister's wedding. Like I put it on a credit card. You know, you mean like when Chad and I that's how we got $100,000 in debt. You know what I mean? So that's not really the problem. Is not money. The problem is belief. It's not logic. Logic is not housed right here. What they believe, if it's too much money for their lack of commitment. Like, you know, that's all they're saying. They don't believe yet. And so you could go backwards. Like when people are like, it's too much money, you have to understand what they're really, really telling you. They're really telling you that they don't believe that they will be able to put in the effort required to make this $160 worth their sacrifice. Because usually people have to sacrifice something, right? So I had a girl sign up with me for, gosh, I don't even know how many months we talked, but this Hemming and Holland thing back and forth, which I totally expect these days. For 7 years I've done it, and so I have faith she'll come around, and she did. Guess what she did to make it happen? She worked a whole week of doubles as a nurse. She was dead flipping tired by the time she started this challenge because her kids needed it. Her son needed a new bat. Her kids needed new running shoes. She needed new running shoes. Do you know what I mean? Like she had to find it somewhere. The drive became so strong. Her why became so big that she was willing to work all of those doubles so that it didn't cause financial strain on their family. See what I'm saying? But that was Facebook messages, some text. I did a phone call with her about her marriage. She saw me do a marriage thing, like where I talked about how Chad and I used to struggle, so I answered her and sent some ideas about marriage. I sent voice messages about marriage. We're gaining trust here. I didn't shut her off. She told me no multiple times. So many times. You know what I'm saying? Like to the point where some people would give up. It was probably the 7th time that she finally came around. You know what I mean? And every time I told her, hey girl, I'm not going anywhere. I'll still be here. When you're ready, when it becomes something that is worth it to you, that you're ready, that without, causing financial strain on your family, I'm going to be right here. I'll be right here. And what did I keep doing on social media? Sharing spotlight challengers, sharing shout outs, talking about my own journey, tips on what I overcame, weaving in what challenge groups did for me, weaving in that stupid shake. I still posted about my free challenges. I posted about I wasn't going anywhere, but I was weaving my story in and getting results. Do you know what I mean? Showing my before and after, showing the summer of, when she was 19 versus the summer now. I kept doing those kind of things. So her belief that it was worth all those doubles made the decision to do it. And that takes time. So, I tell people, I know, like what I'm saying, I know what they're actually saying. They mean that it's not worth, they're not going to use it. So just like the treadmill they bought and the bike they bought and the gym membership they bought and the Body by Buy and the Herbalife supplements that they have stacked up, that's what they're telling you when they say it's too much money, right? And so just hear that back from them. Like, hey girl, I remember when I was in that space as well. What I can tell you is I'm not going anywhere. Why don't we start in the 5-day challenge? It's less of a financial investment, but we can at least start a foundation for you that'll at least start to move you in the right direction so that you can start to work towards repeat their why. Does that make sense? That's how I do this, right? So I get them in a 5-day group. My 5-day message talks about the twists and turns and where I was 7 years ago and all of that, crying in the closet and crying when I went jean shopping and all of that. My whole story, my marriage, the whole thing. I didn't like to be naked. I put it all out there. And I talk about how win the 5 days with me. I had to win. I had to look at things in that fashion. And I also had to get surrounded by people and stay surrounded by people. And I told the story of Chad. He could eat a whole pizza and still have a 6-pack. I looked at pizza. I gained weight. I tell those stories, right? As I say, I love that you're here. This is your safe place, right? So I'm creating trust right away in my 5-day groups with people to build what? The belief. And now behind the scenes, I'll be voice messaging them and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if that helps, but that's how I do it. I'm not a hard closer on people. I'm not about making anybody feel guilty about not being able to do it. You know what I mean? I haven't done any of that to you with Danny Johnson. The people have come to Danny Johnson because I told them what Danny Johnson did for me and how it helped repair. You guys located yourself in my story over time. Like how many of you, like I think Amanda sitting right here has told me no on Danny before. Haven't you? It didn't fit in. You guys had just moved, I think, or something like that. I wasn't like, come on, Amanda. If it was really worth it to you, right? You would make the time, you would find a way to get your kids watched and you would make you know what I mean? Like, I'm not like that. That's not how I would have, Amanda probably give me the middle finger. Or if she would have come, it would have started a whole fight between her and her husband. And so there'd be all this anxiety, or I don't want that. I don't want that. Well, that wouldn't be Success Club points, but not for another person at Danny. You know what I mean? And you don't want that just for 2 Success Club points. How do you have conversations with strangers that just don't give you a whole lot of words? Like you ask questions, get one word answer. I just don't worry about it. Do you know what I mean? I just, they're just not interested in talking, right? And so that's okay with me. Like maybe they had a bad day. You know what I mean? And so I don't take offense to it, and I just go on to the next person that wants to talk to me. Does that make sense? Hold on. I think I'm about to lose you guys. Okay. That's a good question, but I don't worry about it. Okay. Oh, went down too fast. Shoot. Sorry. I did something wrong. I can't find where I left off. Oh, here we go. I thought Facebook got rid of that option. I found a way to do it again. Yeah, they did once, and then I waited for it to come back, and then I Googled it, and all my people are back in interest groups again. It's totally different how you do it now, though. That's good, Melissa. How do you overcome the price cost objection when you haven't talked about anything yet? I mean, when they're starting with the beginning of the script and that's their response. Like, you mean that they're saying, like, I just don't have the money? When people come right back with that, I say, why don't we just, at least start in the free group? At least we can start there. I'm not one to press that. You know what I mean? Now, if they're like, how much is this going to cost me? I seriously say it really depends, because it does. It depends what route you take. It depends what you already have. It depends what your goals are. It depends what, how long you want to kind of work together and stay surrounded. And so there's different options that we can work through. So it depends what they're saying back to me. But if it's right away, I just don't have the money. I mean, I don't know if I've gotten that response in a long time, just right off the bat. But you will get that. And I'll say, well, why don't we just start here? I know that it is really, really important to you and that you just had a baby and you've been struggling. And so why don't we just start in a free group together? It's called Crush Your Cravings. And you can at least get surrounded by people that support you and maybe find a couple tips that can help you progress in a positive way. So if people fire back at me right away, I still come through with something. And if they're like, no, I don't have time with that. I'd be like, you know what? I get that. See, I get that, and there was a time in my life where it just wasn't, my mind, I wasn't ready for it. And that's okay. Have you ever listened to Chalene Johnson? She has a really good podcast. Maybe you can listen to it while you're driving. That might help you, right? I didn't push. I didn't do it. And now I can follow back up instead of being icky. The next week or something. Hey girl, did you listen to any of the Chalene Johnson podcast yet? No, this one's my favorite one. This one really helped me with the 10-minute rule or blah, blah, blah. Or here, this one's from Summer from one of our last challenge groups. You can find all my tips on my, I'm going to run out of battery. You can find all of them on my YouTube account. So, look, my office is in my closet. Because whoever put this closet in here is just silly. Nobody needs a closet like that. That's just right. I could have made a bedroom out of that. That's what I said, and it might be a nursery one day. But anyway, I got to jump off here, you guys, in a second. But guys? Someone give me a thumbs up if some of this is helping, or these relationships take longer. You know what I mean? Like they're humans, and you have to give yourself time to grow in sharing your story, which we're going to tackle next week, and working on your journey and all that kind of stuff with results and nutrition and all that kind of stuff. I'm just looking at some of these messages real quick. I was in my closet. Yep, because it's just too big. It's just stupid. It's my office now. I have an office downstairs too, but then I hear all the kids going crazy and I can't concentrate because then I don't know. Okay, I think we're good. All right, I'm going to cover you're probably going to hear me repeat some things on today's invite training, but you guys, I can't stress enough how important it is for you to kind of get intimate with that marketing plan. Okay, because if you apply it to your marriage, if you apply it with your kids, if you apply it to your business, you'll have so much peace. It won't feel icky anymore. Will people still hammer you sometimes because that's what people do? You guys, I've had people hammer me, and we've built like 30 or 40 houses in Nicaragua for the extreme poor. I still have friends that I went to high school with that won't try Shakeology. Don't ask me about what I'm doing. Don't send me texts like when I speak on stage. Like they just pretend I don't do it. There's just, you guys, you can't control that. All you can control is you. In that video I posted today, think as you start to take action, your belief in yourself starts to grow. But the starting and stopping, that hurt. Some of you are yo-yo businessers. And I was a yo-yo dieter. And I'll tell you what it made me feel like a failure. And so once I started being consistent, my belief in myself, and you started to grow and bleed into every area of my life. You can't put a price tag on that. That's why Danny will say when you go, flip and pick something and do it. You know what I mean? So I remember I was like, yes, just pick a program somewhere, just do it. Just do it. It doesn't matter if it's not my favorite one. You know what I mean? I don't like the 21-day fix. I don't. I think it's boring. I'd rather be doing Asylum or something crazy, but I need some momentum right now. I need to finish something. You know what I mean? I need that, and it builds belief in myself, and that's where some of you guys are at right now. You know what I mean? You just need to build belief in yourself because communication is 93% nonverbal, and that belief is going to, it's going to overflow outside of you as that discipline starts to create momentum. And so I would just stay focused right there. Don't try to be perfect. Just try to show up. Just show up. What that video say, 90% of success is just in your ability to show up. And your belief will start to grow. And when your belief grows, other people's belief grows because you're setting the example, and it all works together for good like that. And now you can be, you know, your struggle is not is not a waste. If you have yo-yo dieted, look at this. I once one time was told, tell me where you're struggling, tell me where you're being attacked, and I'll tell you your destiny. I'll tell you where you're supposed to, what your calling is. I was like, my marriage is being attacked. If I had never, one, struggled in my marriage, right? And two, been willing to have the discipline to repair it, and three, share it, how many people else would not be able to benefit and change their marriage? Think about that. How about my yo-yo dieting? So a lot of us look back at our struggles as something negative. It can be used for good. It can be used for good. So don't deny it. Just change it. Move in a positive direction and then share it because it'll be used for good. All right, you guys, I got to go pick up Ollie. I love you guys. And hopefully I'll see you on live here in a little bit. All right, guys. See ya.